System of tiered assistance. The system of tiered assistance was created to ensure that the State Department is providing general supervision to each school district. This system aligns with the state performance plan approved by the federal government. Data is used to determine the level of guidance needed for each district to improve the district's scores and overall student outcomes. 12 factors are assessed, including 5 compliance factors and 7 performance factors. 0 to 3 points are assigned for each factor. The total number of points a district can earn is 36. The total score determines whether or not a district meets requirements, needs assistance, needs intervention, or needs substantial intervention. Our total score of 26 places our district within the needs assistance category. The State Department provides a collaborative level of assistance by assigning an auditor to our district who answers questions and provides support in relation to improving our scores and overall student performance. Of the 12 factors that contribute to the total score, 5 of the factors are compliance factors. This involves how accurate and timely my data submissions are throughout the school year, as well as any submissions from our finance department that may include maintenance of effort or excess cost. There are also several timelines controlled by the special education staff members. These include evaluations completed for initial referrals, often called 60-day timeline evaluations, and evaluations completed for BabyNet referrals, which are 3-year-old children in need of services. The post-secondary planning score is determined by the performance on the Indicator 13 monitoring, which is completed every 3 years. Lastly, if we do have complaints issued to the State Department, or if we have findings of non-compliance during a monitoring event, these must be resolved within 12 months. This is also issued a score. As you can see by our scores, we have earned the maximum amount of points for every area. There are no issues to address in any of these areas. Several years ago, these were the only scores used to assess special education programs. However, the State Department has now moved to addressing performance in addition to compliance. The performance factors identified by the State Department are determined to be the following. Graduation rate is measured by the percentage of students with IEPs that graduate within a 4-year period from the time they enter high school. Several directors, along with myself, have provided feedback to the State Department addressing the need to include all graduated students, even those that may take 5 or 6 years to graduate. This is currently under consideration. The ELA performance factor measures the percentage of students with IEPs in grades 3 through 8 who scored meets or exceeds on SC Ready ELA and alternate ELA assessments for our self-contained students. Scores on high school EOC testing and high school alternate testing are also included. The math performance factor is very similar, and it measures the percentage of students with IEPs that score meet or exceeds on math statewide assessments. The school age LRE determines the percentage of students within the least restrictive environment, or those students with the least amount of special education service time. Typically, these students spend 80 to 100% of the school day with general education students, as opposed to special education students. The school age LRE only addresses students who are age 5 to 21 in grades 5K through 12. The preschool LRE factor measures a similar percentage, but addresses only students that are ages 3 and 4 and students in 4K. Both factors will change to focus on decreasing the number of students in a self-contained setting instead of increasing the number of students with less service time. The suspension rate performance factor addresses the number of students with IEPs suspended from school during the school year. This includes any student with an IEP that has been suspended for at least one day. The Career Preparation Performance Factor includes the percentage of students with IEPs who receive a National Career Readiness Certificate of bronze level or above on the ACT work keys. All of the data in this slide is from the 2019-2020 school year. These scores are only related to students with disabilities. A score of 3 indicates that the district met or exceeded the state target. A score of 2 indicates that the district met or exceeded the prior year's state performance. A score of 1 indicates that the district did not meet the prior year's state performance, but the district's scores did improve. A score of 0 indicates that the district did not meet the state performance score and the district's scores did not improve. Scores indicated with an asterisk were inherited from the previous year because no statewide assessments were given during the 1920 school year. Scores related to Factor 7 included only 7 students because only 7 students were in the 11th grade. This assessment is only taken in the 11th grade. As I stated previously, students that graduated in 5 years instead of 4 years were not included in this graduation rate. If we look at the suspension rate, this is rather high. This means that 1 of every 3 students with IEPs has at least 1 day of suspension on their record for the 1920 school year. Our overall score, which has typically been around 25, 26, is considered to be within the needs assistance range. Our performance factor score has improved by 1 point for the past 3 years. However, the State Department uses the 3-year average score to determine the need for assistance. A 3-year average of 11 and above places our district within the Tier 1 level. But because our district has earned a 3-year average of 10, we are now at a Tier 2 level of support. This is why the root cause of analysis is necessary during the current school year. The following areas were determined to be areas in need of assistance. Scores were determined based on the performance factor scores for the areas listed in the slide. For example, the early childhood area was evaluated by scores associated with ELA performance on statewide testing, preschool LRE within our district, and the suspension rate. The average score for early childhood was 6 out of 9, which earned the needs assistance ranking. If you look at the bottom, you will see that the area of academics earned a ranking of meets requirements, which earned a score of 7 out of 9. A score of 7 earns a meets requirements ranking, while a score of 6 or below earns a needs assistance ranking. The root cause of analysis must be completed to assist with determining the root cause of poor student outcomes. This is a 33-page document that focuses on the 4 focus areas. All areas must be addressed regardless of whether or not the area is a needs assistance area. The process requires a 5 whys approach in which all members understand the problem. The team should distinguish causes from symptoms and look for the cause step by step. The question why should be asked until the answer is determined.